Right, so fortunately,
Hope that wasn't all running on that camera.
check my IG in the morning. Fortunately, Johnny, as per our last conversation, I managed to get in. It's a miracle I'm here.
Well, what, you do a job, you ask your questions. That's what reporters are supposed to do, innit? That's how we roll.
Speaking about asking questions, there's one thing that I want to get to you before you go out onto the main stage. I was watching IFL with Umar, with Frank Warren, and I've got to say, it was really funny. I find Frank Warren quite funny.
Yeah.
And have you watched it, and what did you think about what he said about you?
And I thought, wow, Frank's at that age now where he don't give a shit. That kamikaze stage where he'll just say whatever. So in response to what Frank said, number one, everything he said I put in my book. Number two, the questions or the statements that were given to him were statements about Tyson Fury. But instead of responding to the statements, what Frank tried to do was a character assassination on everybody that was presented to him, myself, Carl Froch, and Tony Bellew. So that's usually like shooting a messenger for the message. These are conversations. Now, especially in this game, if you want to try and undermine people by doing a character assassination, so to say their opinions are invalid, you can't do that. You don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. And I'm telling you now, every one of us, almost all fighters that know Frank could throw stones, but they don't do that because you don't do that. You know, so what Frank should have done is addressed it. He tried to do a character assassination, which I found funny. Carl found funny. I'm quite sure Tony found funny, but don't do that, man. Because if people start throwing stones back, you'll be batting things off forever and a day. And that's probably all I've got to say on the matter. So basically, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. A statement was made, an opinion of a fighter that I think is the best out of a lot of them. My opinion was on him, on the decisions and where he is in his career and the frustration that me, like most fight fans, are getting. That was it. I wasn't running Tyson's character. Frank, I wasn't running your character. So come on, man, grow up. You're a big old man. You know what I mean? That's like, you don't let people start throwing stones at you because you don't want that.
As a promoter,
I like Frank. I like Frank.
there's always that caveat. I like him, but
No, I like Frank. And like Frank said about me, I like John. My name's Johnny. But I like him. I ain't got nothing personal against him, but what I'm saying is when I saw that, I thought, come on, man, you're bigger than that. Don't drop yourself down to that level. You're bigger than that. And he's not doing himself any favour, but he's been doing it for a while now. So I think it's probably time for his sons to shut their own man up and just shove him in a cupboard and get on with their business side of it.
as his role as a promoter, he's quite close to Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury has been getting a lot of backlash online because of the up and down way that he is when it comes to announcing fights, etc., etc. Do you feel like a lot of that pressure or a lot of that kind of like venom that was spat out towards you guys that gave your opinion is due to that pressure that he's taking for his fighter?
I've said it before, I'll say it again. Tyson Fury's the boss. Frank works for Tyson. Nobody's in control of Tyson Fury. It's Tyson's call. He does what Tyson says. I think Tyson's the best fighter out of all of them. But the decisions making in regards to when he fights, how he fights, who he fights, the ups and downs of it, that's the frustrating bit. So whatever Frank says, Tyson's letting him say it. You know, it's not the other way around. Those days are done now. When the promoter and the manager tries to like talk up for the fighter, Tyson's letting him do that. Tyson's the boss in that situation. So Frank's frustration is he's thinking, well, what else can I say? You know, I've got to say something. I've got to show that I'm his boss. He ain't his boss. Tyson Fury's the boss. Frank works for Tyson. So yes, frustration. Yes, instead of answering any of the statements, he tried to do a character assassination, which just makes you laugh because anybody with any intelligence can see straight through that.
I'm not going to ask any more questions about Tyson Fury because I don't know when he's fighting. You know, I've never covered any work around him, so I don't really know how he works with his stuff. But it was just to obviously speak about that because it did make me chuckle. I mean, Frank Warren said a couple of things that, you know, he just seems he's He's witty. He's just quite a witty man.
Frank at one point was the best
Yeah.
promoter in the country. When it comes to the big shows, he was the best at one point. Now Eddie's the best. It must hurt.
Okay.
It must hurt. I ain't getting that. So it's this frustration. It's like Bob Aaron. Bob Aaron will say some outlandish things to Ross. At one time, Bob Aaron was like top dog. And it's the pyramid of life. So on your way from being the top and you're tumbling down, you're gonna drag everything you can and say whatever you can. Frank's just getting old. He's losing control. And so he's having a bit of fun. And so there's nothing wrong with him having fun. Just be careful. That's all I say. Just be careful when you say certain things, because certain man that can afford to say certain things, they're not scared of getting sued or anything like that. So I find that amusing too.
You mentioned that about getting sued. It's quite an interesting point, actually, because, like I said, it's like if you have an opinion or maybe you delve a little bit deeper under the surface, that people do get into their feelings and have a problem with it. I mean, I don't know your thoughts on that, because it can be quite... You get a lot of, all right, then I'm looking at it from the media point of view. Oh, they won't ask difficult questions because they're scared of losing their accreditation. What is it that us like in the media, it's like we're stuck between a rock and a hard place? I haven't got a problem asking questions, but there will be some that will be like, I've got to tread carefully.
So that's where the problem is. You're a reporter. Your job is to ask questions, uncomfortable questions, questions that the general public might want to know. Your job is to inform and have informative questions and question the answer. Certain people in a position of power don't want to see that. They don't want to see or be asked something that they're going to struggle with or be checked on. So of course, you guys have got to have courage. You've got to be prepared to be blackballed. You've got to be prepared to be vilified. You've got to be prepared to be blanked and not put on the accreditation list. And this is your living, So therefore, depends on how much of a maverick you are. Are you like, I don't give a shit. I'm asking the question. It's my one-hit wonder. Because I'll probably never get the chance again, or are you going to be a sheep and just say yes and no, massa, yes, massa? Don't work like that.
Well, it definitely doesn't work like that with me, and I don't intend to change. But it's just still good to get your opinion on it. But another thing that I'll talk about, you put up a picture. I've just seen it on the way here because obviously I drove up. So when I landed, I saw a picture, and you said you really enjoy speaking to Clressa Shields. That conversation, what's happened there, Johnny? Because obviously I've missed that.
Clorissa's working with us tonight, and my respect for her has gone through the roof. I think when she came to box Savannah, and most of us thought Savannah had a good chance of beating her, Clressa showed she will be a fighter that will be a female version of Floyd Mayweather. She retired undefeated. She is a chameleon. She can fight, she can punch, she can box. Speaking to her about the fight game, her knowledge is ridiculous. She's on it, but this girl can fight, and a fighter knows when a fighter can fight. It's not about her being a guy or a girl. It's about speaking to a fighter, and it was just nice talking to her. It's not very often you speak to other fighters, and you have a fight conversation, and you feel at home. There's things that are familiar with you. Her idols, the people who she mentioned that she looked up to, are my idols. I'm like, you're younger than me. But she's knowing these people and she's studying them. You ask her about almost any fight in the world, she knows them. So you're not just front, you're on it. And she looked great too. And I thought, good on, she dressed well, looked the part. She's her own business, and so I rate her. And she's wearing two hats because she's Cruz Dezern's friend. So she wants her friend to win, and there's a possibility that if Savannah wins, they'll fight. Mm-hmm. So her energy was good, her vibe was good, respect gone through the roof. She'll never be beaten. And listen, I was one of the ones that said Savannah would beat her. I think there's nobody out there that will beat her. She'll lose when she's ready to lose. If she's ready to lose, she'll retire undefeated.
Interesting. So tonight then, who are you backing tonight for the headline?
Well, the headline, I think Savannah has the boxing ability, the boxing IQ. She has the reach, she has the height. She has to have the right game plan. I think Cruz Dezern is strong. She will drag you into a dogfight. And that's her job. That's what she's got to do. So like when she tried to goad Savannah to bite and bite and bite, it's going to be the same in a fight. Savannah's got to control her on her jab, control her with her long shots, control her with her hook. She's got to box and control. If she doesn't, she loses. So neck on the line. If you're saying who wins, I'm going Savannah on a hard 4 points victory. But Cruz Dezern, I rate her. She's a business. She's such a nice lady. She's so respectful when she has to be. Again, knows the fight inside out. And I think women's boxing, especially here in the UK, is mad. It's mad. It's like it's going tenfold, and you've got to respect the level that it shot up to. And it's people like Cruz Dezern, Clressa Shields, Savannah that are putting fight the female fighting on the map and making way for people like Caroline Dubois and people like the young ones coming up because they think you can do it. Yeah, Shannon Ryan, they've got all these fights. You think, wow, a few years time you're going to be on point. So to me, it's again 8,000 tickets gone tonight. What does that tell you? Whereas before, back in the day, nobody wanted to know. Me, I'm loving it. I'm looking forward to it.
Nice one, Johnny. I'm going to let you carry on to do your stuff. But one thing I will say on camera is thank you very much for always being supportive. Off camera, on camera. I've mentioned you on my socials before. You're one of them that's kind of like took me under your wing and helped me learn about boxing. And you appreciate what I bring to the game. So, and that's me with my ego. For once, I'm going to bang my chest and say, respect for that.
The truth shall set you free. Can't play with that.
Cheers, Johnny. Hi, and thank you for watching October Red Boxing. Like, subscribe, and tap the bell for notifications. You can also find us on Instagram at October Red Boxing and on Twitter, October Red UK. And remember, at October Red, we stay ready.